So, Google has just changed the rules of the game again. I was halfway through grading close to 350 tour, activity, and attraction operators across the northwest of England when the news dropped. And I can show you exactly who's ready for it and who isn't. Picture this: someone's planning a weekend in the Lake District. They open Google and just describe what they want. I'm looking for something outdoors this Saturday. 2 adults and a 10-year-old. Nothing too strenuous. Somewhere within about half an hour of Ambleside. Oh, and the weather forecast is 50-50, so something that will keep us dry if it rains. Google's AI understands exactly what they mean, finds what fits, and hands them a direct link to book, all without the guest ever leaving Google. They don't need to visit your website, and they don't need to fill in forms or wait for someone to pick up the phone. You either show up in that conversation, or you don't. The dedicated mobile interface is rolling out in the US first, but Google's AI is already reading your business data right now. UK guests are already using the conversational search to find experiences. The question is whether your profile gives enough to work with. A complete Google business profile, strong reviews, and a connected booking system with a live link. While Google was announcing this, something else was quietly happening to businesses right across all industries, and it directly affects every single review you've ever collected. Let me show you the data. This is the dashboard for the entire Northwest. Close to 350 operators across Cumbria, Greater Manchester, Lancashire, Cheshire, and Merseyside. Everyone graded on visibility, trust, and bookability. Now, before we go any further, I want to show you something important. When I removed the attractions category, the castles, the landmarks, the major visitor sites, the average review count drops by 62%. That's a much more honest picture for independent tour and activity operators. You're not competing with the Chester Zoo for review volume, you're competing with the operator down the road. And I can break this down by county too. If you want to see how your local area stacks up, pause the video now, find your county, and see where your benchmark sits. If you're below these lines, you're losing local market share to operators who've simply done the basics better. The headline: operators across the Northwest outperform the Northeast operators across every metric. The foundations here are genuinely strong. But strong foundations don't protect you if Google is quietly undermining them. And for a lot of operators in this region, that's exactly what's been happening. Look at this number. The average operator here has 1,682 reviews at 4.5 stars. Years of hard work from real guests. Now my question to you is, have you noticed any of these views disappear lately? Because if you have, you're not imagining it. In my opinion, Google is making a deliberate move to clean up its review system. Right now, anyone can leave a review for any business, whether they've used them or not. Google knows that, and if they're building an AI that recommends experiences and sends guests directly to a booking page, they need to trust the data it's working with. So Gemini, Google's AI, has started moderating reviews aggressively, and unfortunately, it's making mistakes. Legitimate reviews from real customers are being removed. You need to understand that Google's guidelines have tightened significantly, and there are a few things that will get your reviews removed or your listing penalized that you might not be aware of. If you use a tablet at the end of your experience, asking guests to leave a review on the spot, stop. Google flags multiple reviews from the same device in the same location in a short space of time as artificial. They're going to be removed. If you're using software that sends happy customers to Google and unhappy ones to a private feedback form, that's called review gating, and it's a violation Google can detect and will act on. And if you blast your entire mailing list asking for reviews after a bit of a quiet spell, well, that spike looks suspicious to the AI, regardless of how genuine those reviews are. What Google trusts is steady and consistent. Regular reviews with detail, photos, spread over time. That's the evidence trail the AI is designed to believe. But protecting your reviews is only half the picture. Because while I was pulling this data together, one number kept jumping out at me above everything else. Let me show you the leapfrog table. 246 operators across the Northwest are not responding to reviews. That's 7 out of 10 operators. Responding to reviews isn't just good customer service anymore. Google's AI reads every review and reply. It's building a picture of what your business does, who it's for, and when your business is the right answer for a specific search. Someone searches for something to do in Lake District on a rainy Saturday with the kids. If your replies consistently mention that your experience is indoors, undercover, suitable for whatever the weather, Google knows to show you for that search. If you're not replying to reviews, your competitors who are will always show up ahead of you. You can't close the gap on review volume overnight, but response rate, quality, and consistency, you can change all three today for free. A business with 50 detailed reviews where the owner replies mentioning they're undercover on rainy days, perfect for families, available on weekends, can steal a booking from a silent competitor with 500 generic 5-star taps. Not because of volume, because of context. Encourage better, more detailed reviews. Respond to every single one. Build the evidence trail consistently. 246 operators in the Northwest are handing that advantage to anyone willing to take it. This is the great equalizer. The small independent operator going up against a competitor with 10 times the reviews. Response rate, quality, and consistency. That's your way in. And look at the rest of this table. 296 not posting updates. 214 underutilizing their business description. 146 with a booking system that doesn't integrate with Google Things to Do, which is the specific feed Google uses to read your pricing and availability directly. Having a booking system isn't enough. It needs to be connected to the right place. It's important to note that one operator could appear in half a dozen of these rows, which means with just 6 fixes this week, they can leapfrog half the region in an afternoon. And that description point, the 214, that's where something much bigger is hiding. I want to show you something I built specifically for this dashboard, the Google Business Profile Maturity Index. It goes beyond the basic profile score and grades every operator on photos, posts, descriptions, attributes, how recently they've updated it, how engaged they actually are as an owner. 60% of mobile searches end without a website visit because guests get what they need without leaving Google. And when Gemini recommends an experience, it picks the operator with a direct booking link, bypassing your website entirely. Your website is no longer the front door to your business. Your Google Business Profile is now the front door. This index shows that 70% of operators in the Northwest are passive. Another 11% are effectively invisible. That's 8 in 10 giving Google's AI little to nothing to work with. You've got more control over this than you think. Google gives you 750 characters for your description, so use up every single one. Tell it what you do, who it's for, where you operate, what makes you different. Use the words your guests actually search for, the locations, the occasions, the highlights. That's the data Google needs to match you to the right person at the right moment. And here's what most operators don't realize. Google is using everything it can to find out about your business to decide who to show and who to skip. The scorecard tells you exactly where the gaps are. Let's take a look at the standout operators and the ones most at risk. Half a dozen have achieved an A grade. Strong visibility, strong bookability, strong trust. That's the benchmark. And it's not easy to get there, but even here there's room to improve. Strong scores today don't protect you if you're not adapting to how Google works right now. As we move down the leaderboard, the story becomes more familiar. Good operators with real products and real guests who simply haven't given Google enough to work with. The gap isn't talent or effort, it's information. And information is fixable. And then we get to the ones I worry about most. The further down the list you go, the more the same patterns start to appear. Incomplete profiles, no review engagement, no connection to Google's booking flow, small problems individually, but together they compound into something that's generally costing these businesses guests every single day. At the bottom, this is where it gets critical. Most of these operators share the same handful of problems. Poor description, no engagement with reviews, no connected booking system. Some are mischaracterized, showing up in the wrong searches entirely. And 31 of them haven't even claimed their listing. That last one is the most critical. If your listing is unclaimed, you don't own your digital storefront. Google is presenting information about your business that you have no control over. Hours could be wrong, photos could be outdated, and you can't respond to a single guest review. Anyone can suggest an edit to your listing, and Google may just accept it without telling you. Most of these issues are fixable in an afternoon, for free. And with everything Google has just announced, sitting on an F grade in 2026 carries more risk than it ever has before. This isn't a technology problem, it's an awareness problem. And now, you're aware. I made this because independent operators deserve the same information that big players already have. You don't have a marketing team working on this, but now you have this. If you want to see exactly where your business sits, your grade, your leapfrog opportunities, the specific things that will move the needle for you, drop a comment below or send me a message. I'm working through every region in England. If I haven't covered your region yet, hit subscribe so you don't miss it. See you in the next one.